beautiful bunnies, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me on today's video. If you're here for the first time, please join the family by subscribing. It is absolutely free to subscribe, okay? And I promise you I've got more beautiful things for you coming. For today's video we're just gonna be talking about periods, okay? We're going to be talking about all things periods, how I started my period, PMS, things I knew before things I wished I knew before I started my period, and some of the things that you guys DM'd me that you'd like me to talk about. So if you'd like to participate but you don't know how, just make sure that you're following me on Instagram at Charlene in Shitsonga. So yeah, so let's get started. I am so pretty, like okay. First things first, I'm gonna talk about how I started my period, okay? I started my period on the 10th of September 2014. I was in grade 8. I still remember very well because I was so excited, child. And I'm one person, if something means a lot to me, I'ma know that date. I'ma know the date. It just comes naturally, like I don't even have to put in effort on that. I just know dates. So yeah, of course I still remember the first day I got my periods. I remember watching Skim Sam. It was around 1840 something. I'm not sure about the time, but I am sure that it was around 1840 something. And you know, the previous day when I came back from school, I was in grade 8, right? When I came back from school, I saw like a dot. It was brownish, like a brownish dot on my undies, and I'm like, oh my goodness, what is this? What is this? And I'm thinking, is this what I think it is? But how am I gonna, you know, like, my mom and I didn't even talk about periods. She never talked to me about such things. For me, it's like, oh my goodness, what am I gonna say? So it's nothing. I go to school the following day, and it was during the week. So I got to school the next day, and you know, I just feel like something is not okay down there. Something is not okay. So I don't pay much attention to it. And then I went, after school, I came back home, and I feel something, like now it's something flowing down from, you know, and I'm like, from my vagina. And I'm like, what is going on? So, okay, I go to the bathroom, and then I check myself, and boom, there's a whole red river going on there. So I'm like, what the heck? You know, I was so excited. One thing about me, when I got my period, I was so excited. Maybe this is because most of my friends were already going on periods. They were already experiencing such things. So for me, it was like, I really want to get to know that, because, you know, we just talk about periods and they just talk about how it is, you know, period pains, and I'm just like, I hear it's painful. So I also wanted to experience that for myself. And I remember I even used to tell my mom that I think it's time you got prepared. I remember, like, I was so excited to get my period, but when that day came, I was like, child, it's going down. Now how do I tell my mom? And you know, my mom was outside the house. She was feeding her chickens. And yeah, she was feeding her chickens. So my mom grows and sells chickens, if you don't know. So if you want to buy, you can come by. So I go outside to tell my mom that, hey, Siri's here. There's a red city. Like, there's a whole red river going on under my undies, So I'm like, come on. And she's like, And then I'm like, okay. I go back inside. I don't say anything. She doesn't even pay attention to that. And then I come back. I'm like, Mane, I think I'm menstruating. And I even said it in English because I felt like it was not gonna be weird if I said it in English. So I was like, I think I'm menstruating. And then she looked at me. She was like, huh? And I'm like, oh, why are you looking at me like that? I guess she was not prepared for that. And then she's like, okay, so do you know how to put it on? She's like, do you know how to wear your pad? I'm like, no, of course. I'm like, yeah, I do. And then she's like, how do you know? I'm like, I just know. Okay, it's not a big deal. So I just went to my sister's like, can you please accompany me to the shop? And she's like, why do you need me to accompany you to the shop? And I'm like, because I started. She's like, you started what? I'm like, do you really have to make this difficult for me? And then she just looked at me. She's like, you lying. You lying. You're lying. My sister was so heartbroken. And then she felt so scared for me. And then she just gave me hers. And she went onto the shop to buy me, to get me pets. Like, she did that, I think, for the whole year. She would get me pets. Because she was like, I know you're scared to go. I know you feel ashamed to go and buy it. But I'm like, I'm not. I'm really excited. Even the next day when I got to school, because it was during the week, I went to my friend, was like, I started yesterday. I started my period. I'm on my period. Like, I was really excited. And she was like, oh, I thought you were going, because of the way, you know, you talk about them. It's like you knew them. So for me, starting my periods, I think it was like, it came with excitement. Am I still excited now? No, I'm not. But yeah, that's how I started my period. Okay, now moving on to the things that I use when I'm on my periods. I just finished my period and I got rid of the paper, but I use this always. These are a lifesaver. Like, if you don't use this, I don't know, like, maybe it's because I've always used always. If you're not comfortable with them, that's fine, but for me, these are the best. These are the best, and they are made of cotton. I buy the long ones because, yeah, they're more comfortable than the short ones. And even if you on your period and it's heavy floor, it's easier to use them. So they are cotton. I don't know if you can see, but these are cotton. Someone asked me if it matters which side goes to the top, I mean to the front of your undies. So I think the thin part goes to the top, because you know there's not much going on the top, but at the bottom you need to cover your bum so that you don't mess on yourself. That's why the longer side, I mean the thicker side and the longer side goes to the back of your undies, and then this one just goes to the front. And then for my period pains, I use this Panado. This is Panado. I use this. It's not even expensive, guys. It's not that expensive, but I'm not someone that gets period pains a lot, so it's not like I really need them. So I just use them when I need them. And this is also a lifesaver, but this I got this from the clinic. This is just, I think these are just for pain and fever, but they do work wonders for me when I'm on my period. These are the panty liners that I use. This is how they look. They're really thin, and these are not really expensive. I think they were 40 something. I don't know if the price has changed now, but they were 40 something, and they're really good. I use them. I use this when I feel like I'm about to go on my periods, and you know, when I'm about to go on my periods and I don't want to mess with my panties, so I wear this just to be clean. But when it's after my periods, I wear the Always Ultra Thin pads. They're really thin. They're more like panty liners, but they are panty liners that are like pads, if you get me. So those ones are really convenient for me because they're like comfortable, and I don't have to worry about missing like any part of my undies, because they cover up like a pad, but they're still like under panty liners. So yeah. And someone asked me if I have any specific sleeping positions for when I'm on my periods. Yes, I do. I don't sleep on my back because I don't want to mess, unless if I'm close to finishing and there's no longer more blood coming out, then I can sleep on my back because it's really comfortable, you know. But I sleep on my stomach. It's really comfortable for me. I don't know if you can do it, but I do sleep on my stomach and I don't mess up. I don't know how I do that. I don't mess up. And I fold my legs. I'll just insert pictures, guys. English is not my English bundles are just what You see? Yeah. And someone also asked me if I've ever experienced irregular periods and what I think could have caused that. Yeah, I don't know what could have caused that. Maybe it's hormonal changes or cycle changes, but I have experienced that. There were times where I'd skip a month and not go on my periods, so it would be difficult for me to track my periods to say, hey, next month I'm gonna go on my periods on this day. And sometimes I used to think my periods were irregular because I didn't know how to track them. And someone also shared a story of how they started their periods. I'm like, oh, see, for the sake of this video, I'm gonna call them Singi. Okay, so Singi started her periods when she was in grade 7, probably 13 or 12, right? And she didn't know what was going on. She just saw blood coming out and she was in class. She had to sit on the desk, same position until school was out, because child, I'm not gonna move. If I move, everybody's gonna see the red city. And she went home, and when she got home, she didn't tell her mom because she was scared. She thought she had done something wrong. This is so sad. This makes my heart so sad. Like, this makes me sad. She thought she had done something wrong, and she just, went to bed, kept quiet about it. And in the morning, when she had to now wake up and go to school again, she saw like a dam on the bed, like a dam of red city. And she just, man, I can imagine now you have to go to your African mom and say, hey, mom, this is what's going on. You don't even understand at that time what's going on, because this is not something that has been taught to you. And she says she just kept quiet, and the mom noticed, and she was like, come here. And she was so scared. She thought she had done something wrong. And the mom was like, oh, this is what you're going through, so you're gonna need this. And then they gave her pads and she put on. This makes me so sad. Do you understand that when you're young, man, it's so scary. I was scared myself to tell my mom, but it's like I was excited at the same time. But for someone in grade 7, but I think it's the same age, I think with the same age group, right? But for someone in grade 7 to be like, mommy, this red city. Child, this is why it's so important to have these conversations, you guys. Let's educate our little sisters. And gents, it's time you also learn, so that you can help your little sisters and your girlfriends and your wives. Someone asked me to talk also about PMS, which is the premenstrual cycle. These are the symptoms that are seen during ovulation and as you're approaching your period. You can have mood swings, tender breasts. It's just hormonal changes, I guess. For me, it's my breasts get bigger, I get more pimples, I get mood swings. So whenever I have mood swings, maybe I don't even realize in that moment, but after, like when my period comes, I'm like, oh, that's why I was acting that way. And sometimes I just crave chocolates. I'm not someone that likes chocolates, but when it's that time of the month, trust me, I crave chocolate. And I hate milk during that time of the month. I hate milk. I don't want milk. I don't know why, but I just hate milk on that time of the month. So I guess it's just hormonal changes. I don't know much about it, but it's those things, those symptoms that just occur between ovulation and your periods. Yeah. So yeah, beautiful bunnies, we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, but do let me know how much you enjoyed the video, and if there's anything that you'd like to comment on your periods, how you started, any period myths that you know of that you'd like us to talk about, do comment on the section below. Let me know how much you enjoyed this video. I hope you stay tuned, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next video.